Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for coming to join me. I hope that you are all doing well. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Hi, Carol. Hello, Danny. And Karen, welcome. Hi, Chris. Hello, Shayna. Tay, thank you so much for joining me tonight, y'all. I hope that you are having a great week. It is only Tuesday. Oh, you have been waiting for this all day. Thank you so much, Tay. I have been waiting for this moment too all day. I enjoy being able to come here and chat with you and catch up and see what's been going on in your world and hear how you are doing. Where are you all located? As you know, I'm here in the Dallas area. I'm in Dallas, and I hope that you are all doing well. Thank you so much, Shayna. So how's everybody doing? Let me know how you are all doing. I am doing good. I hope you're all staying narc free. I hope that you are all staying narc free. Remember, these guys are swamp creatures, and we are here to drain the swamp today. That's right. We're here to drain the swamp because these beasts are out of control, and I think it's time for us to let's drain the swamp on them all, because enough is enough. So listen, let's get into today's discussion, and please chime in the comments. I know y'all do, so I'm looking forward to just hearing what you're saying. I'm going to answer some of your questions, and we're just going to talk, and we're just going to have some time together tonight. Hello, Black Queen for Life. Thank you so much for joining us from Birmingham, Alabama. Oh, okay. So you're in Conroe, Texas, Melanie. Great. Danny's in Chicago. We're coming in from all over. Hello in Canada. How are you? Almost allowed a narc back into your life. Well, I'm glad it's an almost, because almost doesn't count. Like, listen, girl, you can do this. You don't deserve a narc. You deserve a king. You deserve somebody who will treat you like the royalty that you are. And it's so important that we remember. I know I wanted to talk about draining the swamp. Somebody made that in a comment, and I was like, that would be a really great discussion. Hello, child of Christ out here in Texas. Yes, somebody made that the comment about draining the swamp. I think it was David is in Canada. And it's important that we drain the swamp, but how do we drain the swamp if we don't know what these swamp creatures are, and not only what they are, but how do they affect us? It's easy and it's all fine and dandy to for us to discuss who these narcissists are and how evil and insidious the abuse that they inflict on us is. But what does it do to us long term? If we commit to staying involved in these relationships, how do we grow? Where do we go? Will we excel? Will we be able to, get to the heavenly version of ourselves? Will we be able to get to that divine version of ourselves? And ultimately, that's where we want to be. Whether you're a believer or not, there is a future version of yourself that we all need to aspire to get to. But if we have these punks in our lives, there is no way that we can get there. There is no way that our light can shine, because they won't allow it. That's one thing about these swamp creatures, is that they're attracted to our light, right? And when I say our light, it's the aura that's around us. There's an aura that is around all of us, and it's that thing that attracts them to us. They're able to identify. A lot of the times we talk about how is it that they're just able to know that this person, this is a good person, this is a person that I can gain supply from. Narc Khan actually did a really great video last week, and I meant to share it on the community, and I'm going to go back and find it, where she talked about how, supply to the narcissist is nothing more than food. And she broke that down so well. And she even went as far as, discussing how some people are nothing more than snacks to the narcissist. And it was a really great analogy, but they're attracted to that light. And not only are they attracted to the light, but it's also the fragrance of you. Everybody has a scent to them, and it's that fragrance of you. That's what they are attracted to, because it smells pleasant, it smells delightful, it smells endearing. It smells like everything that they wish they could be. But they're empty shells. Well, that's what we used to call them, but now they're what? Sewer water filled shells. That's what they are. And so anything that does not smell like their sewer water, that is delightful to look at because of the light, you know they're going to be drawn to it. They're going to be attracted to that very thing. And so they're going to come in and leech in on that. And so that's why it's important that we drain the swamp, because a lot of people don't know. It's crazy. As much as we know, and as much as we work towards sounding the alarm and helping each other in these comments and everything in life, and just sharing about it, a lot of people don't know. And to me, this is like that silent pandemic. We're in the midst of a pandemic right now, but for some people, they're actually facing two pandemics. In fact, possibly three, because number one, we have this COVID that's out there. Number two, they're in the home with a narcissist. So that narcissistic abuse in itself is a silent pandemic, because a lot of the times, you don't see any physical scars. There's no sign, there's no, bruises or whatever, but they don't see the pain that's inflicted on the heart. But not only on the heart, but on the soul, because these narcissists come to do nothing but siphon our souls. And so people don't always get to see that. And so they miss it. And so it's a silent pandemic. And again, another pandemic would be also that so many people are facing unemployment, or they are underemployed right now. And so just imagine, it's tough for a lot of people out there right now, but this is something that is so important. And so, as many of you who are fighting to do your part and to share what is going on, and to draw attention to this type of insidious abuse, to this spiritual warfare, if we're going to be honest and just call it what it is, keep doing the work. Keep doing the work. Keep sharing. Keep sharing your story. And sometimes it's uncomfortable to do that, but I believe that the more that you do it, and as you begin to do it from a powerful standpoint versus from a victim standpoint, you become so much more effective, and not only effective, but stronger for yourself. And as you become stronger, you're strengthening other people by just showing up. And so continue to do it, because these fools came to do what? Steal, kill, and destroy. Set on assignment by their demonic father. That's all they're here to do. Steal that light. They want that fragrance of you. They want to destroy your life and just kill your passion, your purpose, your drive, the things that keep you going forward in life, the things that they feel. It's crazy, because we know that they siphon souls, they're energy vampires, and they want all of that from themselves. And I'm sure we can all attest to the fact that when we are in relationship with these people, that we lose our interest in life. We're no longer passionate about the things that we once were. And we end up sometimes taking on their characteristics or their traits. The longer that you stay with them, you find that, why am I always angry? Why am I always, snapping? Why am I always going off? Why am I no longer my happy self? All the things that you wanted to do, all the things that you enjoy to do with your life. I remember, like, I've talked about how, like, my ex-husband was like, he was one of them, right? Raggedy and dusty to the core. And I took time out after that, after we went our separate ways, so that I can start healing. But and I spent a lot of time doing a lot of work. But then tragically for me, or maybe not so, because I'm here now, and I'm sharing this experience, I ran into another one. But the moment I found out about this joker, I let it go, because I had I had some type of awareness, not necessarily about this abuse, but about myself, to know that, no, I deserve more than this. And so, we continue to go forward. But there's so many things that I used to love to do that had to take the back seat because he was in my life. You see, we'll never get to, like I was saying earlier, we never get to the heavenly version of ourselves when we are with these swamp creatures. And again, that's why we drain the swamp. So if we stay with these people, one thing that they work so hard to do is to take away our self-confidence. And without self-confidence, how can we do anything? We don't see ourselves for who we truly are. We see ourselves through the lens that they give us. And their glasses, y'all, their glasses are they're I got some glasses here. Their glasses are all tainted with what's that? Sewer water. Sewer water. You would never be able to see anything through sewer water. So, we can't use their lenses. Those lenses are a terrible filter for us to see ourselves. And really, if we were allowed if we were to allow their perspective to identify, or if we identify ourselves through their perspective, we're going to come up short each and every single time. We're going to be empty, we're going to be unfulfilled, and we're going to look just like them, which is their ultimate goal, because they feel as they siphon our souls, as they these energy vampires steal from us our virtue, our wonderful qualities. They believe that they'll get them, which is where they're so stupid, if you ask me. Yeah, stupid, because they really think that those parts can become who they are, but they are who they are. And just like you are who you are, so to some extent, it's not that our qualities leave us, but they become dormant. And anything that's dormant can has the opportunity to become stagnant, and anything that is stagnant really is dead. And so we've got to work hard to tap into our good qualities, so that we can cancel all of this foolishness that these jokers bring. Again, they wanted to take your self-confidence, and they do that by manipulating you into submission. Come on, I know I am not the only one, and I'm actually gonna do this tomorrow. In fact, when I get done here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to share a screenshot that I got from the ex swamp creature, that he tried to come for me, stalking me on online or whatever. And he tried to come for me in an email, and I just ignored that fool, just had that raggedy joker on ignore. But I want to post it so that you can see what it looks like when they talk to you, some type of way, because he immediately went to the whole "I'm your master, and if you don't stop what you're doing, you are going to be replaced. I'm going to get myself a new slave." Like, hello, are you kidding me? I hope you do get somebody new, because I will never come back to you. They manipulate us into submission. And if we were to take the narcissist view on submission, and please, this is not just for the males, because women do this too. That female narc, she does this too. She is well versed in moving around with her slimy, raggedy self. But when we look at what submission is through their lens, it's always going to come up short, because I know for a lot of people, submission is a dirty word. But for me, I actually welcome the idea of submission, only because I understand it from a different perspective. I think it's one of the most powerful postures that we can take in a relationship, that is fulfilling, and that is loving, and that is whole, and that actually means you well. But when it's with them, you can never, ever, ever. It's not even submission, but it's subjection. So the real word I should use is they manipulate you into subjection. That's when they see themselves as the king, as the queen of your castle, because hello, these fools a lot of the times are parasitic, and they don't even have their own homes. I just finished doing tomorrow's video on the homosexual narcissist. Like, listen, the one who needs somewhere to stay. And so a lot of them, again, not all of them are like that, but a good number of them are. And so, it's always going to be about what they can get, or how they can manipulate you to get themselves to look better. And that's all it is at the end of the day. And so, no, we want them to look exactly how they are. We want them to be seen for the exact cowards that they are. We want them to be seen for the jokes that they are, so that we effectively together, we can go ahead and continue to sound the alarm on these people while we drain the swamp, because their days are numbered, their time is up. We are coming out full force. They play on insecurities, and a lot of the times, this is like, when we go back to the beginning of the relationship, and we begin to, we're going through that process of talking and getting to know each other, and you get comfortable with sharing parts of your life, and they're like, "Oh, really, that happened to you? Yeah, I had the same experience, this and this about whatever you're sharing." And all they're doing is storing that in their memory bank, so that later on they play on those insecurities. For some people, it'll be like, "Oh, well, I never really liked that, I had this kinky hair or whatever. I don't like the color of my eyes." And then they'll sit there and talk about the exact opposite, about fine silky hair, about different color eyes, just to play with your insecurities. A lot of people, you know in the email that I was just talking about, he picked me apart physically, right? But who cares? Like, I was over all of those things and was never really part of my makeup. But because he thought that that would be an opening, that would be a void, that he could come and talk to me about how I look, talk to me about my weight, and think that that was going to be something that would make me feel small or pathetic or whatever. They think that they know our vulnerabilities sometimes, and and that they can use them against us. But we're not all like that. We're not all like the weaker supplies or the weaker targets that they sometimes get. We are powerful. We are powerful, and what I really want to talk to you today about is just how powerful you are in comparison to these swamp creatures. Like, first of all, they're swamp creatures. Like, hello, you are bearers of light. They're attracted to you, and so many times they get so confused, because if you think about a swamp, think about what is in the swamp: frogs, snakes, crocodiles, rats, possums, and you have a lot of fireflies, right? I'm thinking about like Princess Tiana in I forgot the name of the cartoon, just like that, but I was thinking about her. And I'm thinking about all the little, fireflies that were going around at night. And so they see those fireflies and they think, huh, that looks nice. That looks attractive, because it's the light that's catching them, right? That's what's attracting to them. So these stupid swamp creatures lash out and go snatch that light, that firefly, hoping, thinking that it has the same capacity as you. I told you last week that you are not a firefly. You are, in fact, an ego. And so they got mistaken. They thought that that little, the light from that firefly would match the strength, the honor, the dignity, the capabilities, the talents, the passion, the anointing, all your wonderful qualities. They thought that that would match you, or that little firefly could apply all those things. And that's why they move hastily sometimes, and they discard people only to find out, dang, I did it again. I made a dumb punk move. But now you've gone. You've had time to move on. You've had time to see yourself. And it's important that you don't let that joker come back, because if you get away, and if they come back, especially now, this is like, again, Narcon, she calls this the Winter Olympics time. This time, it's time for them to start gathering that winter supply, or to hone in on that winter supply, because guess what? Many of them out here, the swamp gets cold too. The swamp is cold in some areas where there's swamps. It might even be snowing. Who knows? But it freezes overnight. They don't like that. They need somewhere to stay. It can't be your couch. It better not be your house. And so continue to fortify yourself, continue to do the work. Don't allow them to alter your perception of reality. And when they do, it's so important. A lot of the times we may, just depending on what your surroundings are, and the people who are around you, what they're like. Some people don't trust friends, and especially if the narcissist has been talking to you about your friends are your enemies, I'm the only person that cares about you, your family is no good, all these things that they like to tell you to tarnish the way that your relationship with them. They isolate you. They're trying to alter your perspective, so that that relationship can have a crack in its foundation. Don't let that joker do that to you. You need these people in your life to help you fortify yourself afterwards, and even through the relationship, because they know you. They know the real you, and they're not jealous or intimidated by the real you. The swamp creature is what is intimidated by you. They feel like, if you can look through, if you can see yourself through their lenses, that you will alter, your perception of yourself will be so bad that you will lay in the gutter with them and beg them and go back to them over and over again. I can't tell you how many times I went back with my ex-husband after the worst things. It was only until I was good and done that I knew, like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. But it takes a lot of times, for some people, a lot of the times it's not just the first discard. For me, like I said, I can't tell you how many times, but my day came. Every dog has its day, and it came the day for me to leave that swamp creature once and for all. And once it was done, it was done. And they know these things, and so they work tirelessly. Tanya, hey Tanya, she said that only a dead narc doesn't hover, and this is the truth. Only a dead one doesn't hover. So these swamp creatures are always, always going to be trying to scope out the scene, see who you're with. The moment, at least for me, with the moment, anytime I am interested in any man, and I'm talking about interested, we might not even be talking, but if we are talking, it's like sensors go off. And these swamp creatures come around and, hey, I miss you. Do you miss me? No, no, Joker. And this, that's another thing that always makes me say, like, how do they know? How do they know the changes of the seasons in your life? How are they able to sense changes that are coming through in your life? We don't even know them. Sometimes we may feel like something might be changing, or working towards something, but we don't know, but they do. And so this, again, for me, is just another confirmation that this is not an earthly battle. This is definitely a spiritual war, because who told them? Who told them? Yeah, we know that the devil cannot predict the future, is unaware of the future, but he is well aware to understand that there is a change that is going on in the realm of the spirit, because they are more in tune spiritually. And even though I love to call him a raggedy, dusty joker who is already under our feet because that's where he was placed, let's not kid ourselves. He still is a very powerful entity. He's not as powerful as God, but he's very powerful where he is. And so, let's not do ourselves a disservice to think that, we're just going to waddle through life and, and tell ourselves that he's not powerful. He is. He's able to, he has his minions that are at work for him. And so, between familiar spirits, monitoring spirits, and all the other spirits that are in play, they're able to communicate changes that are in our lives and in our seasons, to send these dirty swamp creatures to come and cause confusion in our lives. And so how then do you drain the drain the swamp? How do you drain the swamp? I mean, we've been hearing about draining the swamp for a minute, but I don't know if it's drained, or if it just got muckied up or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It's important. So I'm just going to take a look at here and see what's going on in these comments and what your thoughts are tonight. So it looks like we have Arizona in the house. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me on this live. I'm glad that you were able to make it, and I appreciate your time and you joining us tonight. I hope that you get to enjoy yourself as well as mingle with everybody here in the comments. We appreciate you. Um, yeah. Okay. Spiritual warrior says almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Okay, that's it, because almost nope, almost doesn't count. That was Brandy who sang that song. And that's the very first thing that came to my mind when we saw the comment about almost falling for the narcissist again. Hello, Karen. So started no contact, 14 days now, shopping in another city on the island. You see, and congratulations on 14 days. Please keep going forward. We are looking forward to hearing that it's 15 days, 16 days. Sometimes you have to take it moment by moment. Sometimes it's minute by minute, second by second, day by day. But the day will come when you'll be look up and be like, wow, it's been a whole month. Oh, 2, 3. Come on, I'm here at 12 months. You've got this, Karen, and we are here to support you. And sometimes we have to do things like shop in another city, and this is like reverse stalking. We change our whole routine so that we don't run into them, because we don't want to run into them. And don't ever feel like I'm too powerful, or I've gone too far in the process, that I won't feel some type of way if I see them. I don't want to see them. And I've been at this for a little while, but I just don't want to see them. I don't want to, because you never know what angle they're going to come after you at. I can choose to say I'm going to ignore them by all means, but I'm not going to go out here and, go cross areas where I could possibly run into either one of them, because nah, I already know how filthy they are, and I also know that they really don't like me. They hate my guts. They visit this channel and they are mad. They leave stupid comments, and so I'm sure they would have a lot to say if we ran across each other in person. And for me, for my situation, I do share children with one of them, but who I couldn't care less. Like, he can figure that out by himself, and it's just what it is. Hey, Shayna, yes, they are swamp things. That's all they are, swamp things. That's all they are. Let's see. What else is going on here? Okay. Carol says, my narcissist has been bothering me all weekend, but I will not answer him, and it's driving him crazy. Don't answer him at all. Don't answer him. And if I don't know what your situation is, Carol, but if you can, drain his ability to even get through on your phone. Let him go straight to voicemail, block him so that he can get the message loud and clear that I ain't playing with you, you dirty thing, you raggedy, dusty narcissist, you raggedy, dusty fool. No, we're not doing this. We want to go into 2021 in a better state, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially, because these vampires, these parasites, they want to take everything from us. They just never happy with anything. Hello, child of Christ, and this is the truth. They want us to be as low as they are, and that's the truth because think about their low self-esteem. Really, like, I mean, they come from a swamp, guys. They are filled with sewer water. What is there to be proud of? Absolutely nothing. And there they are looking at this ego soaring. And it doesn't matter what stage of your recovery you are. Just keep on going, because the more think about a baby eagle, it has to stay in that nest until it's able to take flight, and its wings need to be able to get strong so that it can go higher. And so strengthen your wings, make sure you're getting the right substance so that you can. And it's not even about food, but yes, nourish your body properly and be as healthy as you can. A lot of people want to know, like, how's the best way? How can I really get back at this person? Because I'm hurt. I'm feeling empty. I feel defeated. I feel like I'm compromised. I gave up the very best parts of myself for this person. I put my dreams, my goals, my vision, my talent, my life on hold so that I could help them. That's how much I love them. You sacrifice and you do and you do and you do, but there is no return on your investment. And so it leaves many people just heartbroken. And I think it's beyond heartbroken. But that pain that you feel in your soul, that just hurts like you, there are no words for that type of pain. I mean, there are even no tears for that type of pain because it cuts so deep. So they want to know, how do I get even? How can they feel the way that I feel? And I was the same way. I was the exact same way. I wanted to know, like, how do we level this playing field, because this doesn't feel right. This does not feel good at all, until I realized that there's nothing that I could personally do to actually inflict that type of pain on them. Number one, as much as we think that we can, and no matter how raw our emotions are in the moment, we're just not them. We're cut from a different cloth. We are not them, and we can't hurt them like that, because 9 out of 10, they've received some type of ill treatment from somebody else, and so they've been round the block before. They've been there, they've done that, they know. And so they will, they're anticipating these things. And so for them, it's not going to be much about anything. And so here's the thing: you have to focus on yourself. That's how we drain the swamp. We focus on ourselves. We do the work, and it's hard. When we talk about self-love, and self-love is so important, and it's not selfish. You need to be able to love yourself so that you can pour it into other people, because there's no pouring from an empty vessel. It just doesn't happen. And so it starts with you. And that's also going to set the bar on the future relationships that you will have. So self-love, right? We're going to dive into ourselves and figure out, how do I transition from where I am to where I want to go? We have to begin to, seek out the highest version of ourselves. And, maybe this is something that you can consider later on and write this out. But where do you see yourself in 6 months, in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years? Where do you see yourself? And if you're not sure where you see yourself, then maybe it's time to figure that out. What do I want out of the next five, 5 years, 10 years, whatever time frame you get, and start acting like that right now. In the midst of the pain, start showing up as that person, that future version of yourself, that you in 10 years, start showing up as that person who you aspire to be, because every little step that you take towards showing up as that person, as showing up as that heavenly version of yourself, is one step closer you are to that. So that by the time you get to that mark that you've set for yourself, be it 1 month. Karen mentioned that she's been no contact for 14 days, for 2 weeks. So let's just use her as an example, if that's okay, Karen. That, you know what, the next 14 days, I want to get to that version of myself. And so where do I want to be? What mindset do I want to be? What mind frame I want to be at that point in time? I want to be somebody who hasn't reached out to him, who has rejected phone calls, who is not bothered about their social media, even if it hurts me, even if I have to cry. I'll cry, but I'll still show up as that future version of myself. And that's a commitment that you're making to you. You're the one who deserves the commitment. You're the one. And so again, a lot of the times, a lot of what they do is in our minds. It's in our minds. This is where we go into the narcissist agenda is to siphon your soul, because part of your soul includes your emotions as well as your ability to think, your personality. Those are all housed in your soul. It's where you think. As a man thinketh, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. All of that is part of your soul. And that's what they come after. And that's what you have to work hard to fortify. Because as you fortify that, that's where you drain the swamp. So I want you to think about yourself as that eagle that is soaring high in the sky that nothing can touch. And if it dare bring its raggedy behind to try and catch you, it won't. It cannot breathe on those at those altitudes. That that they better stay with those fireflies, because that's what they deserve. That's the level that they can. And so no, continue to do the work. Melanie says, I've been getting different numbers texting me. I think it's him. I'm with you on that one. They do that. They find different numbers to text you, and it becomes, it just becomes a game of, okay, new number block, new number block. Last time we were on the live, I was with Tanya on that last live, and I was telling you, like, by the end of the live, I had 11 different text messages from 11 different numbers. They just, they don't make sense. They don't make sense at all. But yeah, he needs to get a life. Yeah, so I'm just going here to see what's going on in the comments. Right. Child of Christ is right. On the money tonight. We need to spread awareness. There's somebody getting abused right now. There really is. And this also is the Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so, it's great. I know Tanya, Just Say No to Narcs, is highlighting survivor stories all month long. So if you have not, and I hope that you are all subscribed to her channel, but go there and hear what she has to say, or email her at just say no to narcs, number 2 to narcs, at gmail.com, and share your story with her, whether you want to submit it anonymously, or you don't mind sharing your name, and she will share it on her community board. But share your story. The more people that hear your story, and sometimes to us our story can seem so insignificant, it can feel like, what, I'm so embarrassed, I can't really tell people about these parts of me, or share what you're comfortable with. Share it from a position of power, because you are the powerful one here. And share your story, because I remember when I came here, I was a bit embarrassed when I knew I wanted to come and talk about the impotent narc. I was like, dang, girl, you really want to tell these people what about what? Yeah, but I was so surprised. Like, really, I was blown away when everybody started sharing their experiences, and we were able to make sense of these things together. It's also embarrassing when we know that these creatures are dirty. And then you're like, dang it, but I was with this person. So what, it's embarrassing, yes, but we're able to rise from these things. We're no longer there. And even if you are there, you too can come out. And so that's why sharing your story is so powerful. It may resonate with somebody in such a deep way that they'll be like, oh, it's your voice, it's your words that they needed to hear. And so what did you do? You effectively played your part in draining the swamp. And so that's what this is all about. This is what is all about. Oh, this is what it's all about. So KD over here, 4 years with him, but he's been blocked since February. Congratulations, that's wonderful. Still think about him. Sometimes thinking I was the narc. He got engaged to one of my friends a few weeks ago. You know, I wish Tanya was here. Tanya, we were together on Saturday night and we were just talking, about our experiences and sharing how sometimes we both felt like, you know what, when I said this to him and I, responded to his behavior, his attitude, his bad treatment of me in a particular way, you feel like you're the narc. No, you're not the narc. You're just somebody who's tired of the foolishness. You're somebody who is speaking up for yourself. You're somebody who's drawing the line in the sand, and the narcissist doesn't like it. And so they have a reaction. And then our response is to, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, and they are now playing again on your insecurities. They're now altering your perception of your own self. No, you're not the narc. They are the narc. And, you know, they got engaged to your friends he got engaged to your friends a few weeks ago, and I know that's got to be difficult and hard on you, but dang, that was dirty. That was never your friend, because a true friend doesn't do that to you. That was just an opportunist who is about to get a hard lesson for themselves. And it's not that, we take joy in seeing them, go down the wrong path, but if you want it, hey, we get it. And that's all there is to it. That was never your friend. By no stretch of the imagination. And you know what, guys? Our path to recovery is never a straight line. It's always going to wiggle, go up and down, and then we have a moment of clarity where it's straight, and then it goes haywire again. There is no straight path to this healing process. There are going to be moments where we miss them. There are going to be times when we can't get them off our minds. There are going to be those moments where we're like, how come they get to go off skipping into the sunset happy, and here I am. I'm alone. I have nobody to talk to. I have nobody to share these moments with. And if they would have just been a better person, if I could have just, helped them see things, if I could have just loved them, there's nothing that you could have done. There's nothing. It was, it was just a moment with what you call those things. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. The thing with the sand, and you turn it upside down, the timer was already on and was bound to come to an end. And don't be hard on yourself as we grieve these relationships, because it is important that we grieve them, because while they may have been lying to us, while they may have been insincere, while they may have had an agenda for us and for the relationship from the word go, we didn't show up there lying. We didn't show up there scheming. We didn't show up there cheating. We didn't show up with ulterior motives. We went there as pure as we could and as we are, and got duped. That's all it is. They pulled the wool over our eyes, and we get played. And of course we're going to feel some type of way. It's painful to know that this person that I was, who was future faking, but we don't know this at that time. We're building a future with them. We're sharing goals. We're sharing dreams. We're putting in work. Rome wasn't built in a day. So we're investing in this relationship, showing up, laying bricks towards what we want this to be daily, daily. And so, of course, it's going to hurt, but continue to focus now on that future version of yourself. Whatever timestamp you put on it, focus on that version of you and show up as that person. Continue to put in the work, so that you can ultimately get to the other end, because the word says, yea, though I go through the valley of the shadow of death, don't forget this is a through process. It's a through process. And yeah, the valley the valley moments are hard, and a lot of the times it's during those valley seasons that we don't have a lot of people around us. And while that may seem like a bad thing, I want to remind you that when a seed is dropped in the ground, it's alone, it's isolated, and it can think that, okay, we can think that, oh my God, this is the end of the world. I'm here by myself. It's dark, it's cold, I'm sad, and nothing seems to be happening. But continue to focus on your future self. Do the shadow work, do everything that you can to heal. Even though you feel like I'm in the valley, even though you're that seed in the ground, even though you're that baby ego still forming in the egg, That little ego don't know that, the time is going to the time to hatch will come, and there'll be people on the other side. The valley is a through process. We don't stay there. We don't unpack our bags. We don't make friends in the valley. We go through it, because everything that you want is on the other side of the valley. And I think it's important that, during those pit moments, during those valley moments, we're careful what we speak over our lives. Listen, our words are powerful, and what we speak is what is going to frame our world. So be very mindful with what you are putting out into the atmosphere. And when you catch yourself saying something negative, I need you to go and apologize to yourself when you speak poorly about yourself and to yourself, because you're announcing that over your life. And sometimes you don't feel like saying the positive things. Okay, then don't say them. Keep quiet. Don't say the negative things either. You're giving what you speak, you're giving permission to exist. And so, once I grasped that concept, I would be like, having my crying spell moment. Yet I would say that, I'm lovable and I will find love and I'm worthy of love. But I didn't feel like it. I felt like, really, I felt like trash. But I could not allow my words to dictate that, because even if I wasn't focused on my future, right? If I said, you know what, you're no good, and he left you because of ABCD, and I start trying to rationalize in those moments, it just makes you feel worse. So, it's important that you watch what you say and speak boldly over your life. You're your own greatest prophet. That's it. You're the greatest prophet of your own life. So speak boldly, have big dreams, and say big things about yourself, your career, your business, whatever it is that you want to do. Be bold about it. Be bold, because one thing that the swamp creature was able to see is the potential that is in you. And so they work so hard to minimize who you are, and even tarnish your image after everything is done. Not even after, because sometimes these punks do it before, during the relationship. It's only later that you may find out that they've been smearing your name, or just, out there just being their raggedy selves. And so they tarnish your image. And so it feels like, my back is up against the wall, and what now? You're an eagle. Remember, you can fly, you can soar, you can continue to go through the valley. That's something that they can't do. And so you're already so much more powerful than them, because no matter what, they may think that they will take your power. They're just not equipped to do it. It's, think about who their father is. Their father comes from the pit of hell. And so their thoughts are coming from the pit of hell. And just like Satan thought that, really, I'm qualified. He thought he was qualified enough to tempt Jesus, right? After the 40 days. It's just the same with the narcissist, thinking that he can come and throw you off your game, throw you off your kilter. He can't. He can't, unless you give him the power to do that. That's one thing, you have to oh, here goes Shayna with a nice comments. I got distracted there. And begin to give ourselves the love we deserve. They didn't give love. They only delivered a disillusioned version of what they think is love. And, that's so powerful and that's so true. So thank you for saying that, and sharing that with us, because it is. It is, it's all a delusion, but you're worth more than a delusion. And that's one thing that you can already, like, even in the midst of your pain, even in the midst of sorrow, even when you don't know, where am I going to go from here? Where am I going to live? Start telling yourself that there is somewhere for me. He has already prepared a place before me in the presence of my enemies. Frame your world with whatever words you want. You go find your most positive inspirational speaker, because I know not everybody will use scripture, right? I know not everybody will. So find somebody who really resonates with your soul. Find powerful words, poetry, books, whatever, wherever you're going to get your quotes from, even if you create them yourself. And I think the ones that you create for yourself are so powerful. And start speaking those things, and think forward, like, especially if you have to physically leave, what is the game plan? Do we have a game plan? Or do you have a getaway kit? Do you have some clothes set aside? Some people, start renting out storage units and take out small amounts of clothing at a time before they do a big sweep, at the end, and are able to go. And if you're somebody who is dependent on them financially, how are you going to get away from this? How are you going to drain this sucker, this energy vampire, this swamp creature of you, of your presence, of your goodness, of your light, the very things that they think that they can get from you, and so it means, are you going to be putting away money? Are you going to get another job? Are you going to if they're all up in your financial business, do you have somebody that you can trust, who you can say, hey, open an account for me and put this money in there for me? There's lots of things like Poshmark, offer up, 5 Mile, where you can sell things that you have that may not be easily noticed. I know, like, some of us ladies, we have clothes and shoes that we don't even wear, that will go for some amount. No matter how big or small that money is, it's something towards your ultimate goal of gaining some type of financial independence, or having some type of cushion when you leave. But all of these things are important, as well as becoming aware with what services are offered in your area where you live. um yeah, so let me just go through these comments and see what else I can find. Hello, healing through inspiration. Yeah, so he was just talking about my weight, saying he can see my ribs from when I was fasting. Yeah, they love to, poke on areas that they think are going to be soft spots for us, just so that they can throw us off kilter, make us sensitive, insecure. And that's because they're cowards, they're punks. They know that they have nothing else to offer, or nothing else to distract or give, or gain from you. So they'll do everything in their power to devalue you. But when you know who you are, like, listen, all of that can just roll off your back. And yeah, all of that will roll off your back. Hello. Of course, karma is coming, and don't even worry about it. Like, listen, if you're going to be allowed to witness their karma, you're going to get to see it. But they experience it every day. Sometimes, it's just the thought that they messed up with you. They got a pigeon when they had an eagle. They got a vulture when they had an eagle, and they got to live with it. It's not like they're going to come and tell you, dang, this person is a vulture and I had you. They're like, they're just as toxic as me. They're not going to come and tell you those things. And a lot of the times, Tanya talked about it today. I believe it was the video today where she talked about them ducking and hiding because they can't. Sometimes the new supply isn't all that. It's not all that it's cut up to be. And hello, it's hard out here for a pimp. Like, these guys don't have it easy. As much as it may seem and look like they have it easy, like, they're running circles in their own dusty minds, trying to scheme and manipulate and keep track of their lies, and keep track of their different targets, and keep track of all the things that they need. It's just ridiculous. But that's who they are. That's who they are. That's who they are. Um, right. This is a great point. Hi, Corey. How are you tonight? So, after discard, surround yourself with positive people. Get a network. Fill your void time with positive things. And I couldn't say this enough. This one, like, absolutely yes to everything, because now you need those who know you, who love you, who want to see the best in you surround you. You want them to be able to speak life into you in those moments where you can't even think about life for yourself. But there they are, loving you and supporting you and reminding you of who you are. It's so important that we lean in on our network. We lean in on our support system, because these are the relationships that the narcissist would like to tell you that these people don't love you like I do. These people don't have your back like I do. They hate you. Did you see how Susie said acted when you walked in the room? I don't like that, and I was about to say, they would say stuff like that. This swamp creature that I used to deal with would do that all the time, talking about my parents. Dude, you're crazy. At that point, when I caught on, I was like, okay, this is what this is about. But they will say whatever they can to just destroy your relationships, because destroyed relationships mean nothing to them. They know that it's just a matter of time before their relationship with you is destroyed by the truth. Listen, time exposes weak bonds. Time will always bring the truth to the surface. And so you've got to, allow yourself that time before we get into the next relationships to see who is this person. And it's really nice when you have somebody new. It's exciting, and we get caught up in our feelings sometimes. But give yourself time. Allow yourself time to dry out. We go to that stage where we're infatuated with the person. Give yourself time to dry out so that we can see them for who they are. And we can really make a reasonable assessment as to whether they deserve to be in our lives and do they belong in our lives. And not only do they belong in our lives now, but can I see them with me in 10 years? Do they fit the version of me that I'm trying to show up for every day as? Do they belong here? And don't be ashamed. Don't be scared. Don't be intimidated. Don't be afraid to walk away. Walk away. Walk away before you invest your emotions. And remember that your love is good. Your love is pure. Your love is valuable. Your love is love. So it's not free. You can't just give that away. And I'm not saying it has a price tag. That's not what I'm saying. But make sure the person is worthy of your love before you give it away, because we gave it to these dusty swamp creatures, and look what happened. They handed us our hearts back with a knife in them. So be very careful. And I'm not saying that I want you to go around and think of everybody as a narcissist, but like, and then allow your emotions to dry out so that you can make a really good assessment on who they are before you move forward again, because it's painful to end up right back where you started. So it's going to take a lot of time, because it's going to take a lot of time for you to heal what you've already done before. So just continue to focus on doing your inner work, in your inner healing. And you cannot forget who you are. Who are you? You're that eagle. You're the one who has the ability to soar. You have the strong winds. You're the one who can rise to altitudes that these swamp creatures cannot. And that's why they want you. So so just be sure and be careful that you're protecting yourself so that you don't end up back here again. So I want to take a look and see if there are any questions so that I can answer them, because I know it's almost an hour, and I want to be sure that I can answer some questions. I love RC Blake's video on narcs. I love all of his videos, his books. I've been to a conference before. He is an awesome man. If you have not listened to him, I would highly encourage you to visit his channel. This man is one of the voices that really guided me through my recovery process. But it wasn't even just that it started with, or as part of my recovery process, but even in the midst of the relationships, and even when things were good, I've always just enjoyed his teaching. He is very sound. A lot of women have daddy issues. Like, you have narcissistic fathers. You may have been the golden child, the scapegoat. You may have an absent father. He has the father-daughter talk. That's a book, and there's videos on that. He also has a podcast. A lot of his YouTube videos are on whatever podcast app you listen to. But his work is great, and he also has things for men too. So I mean, he is an awesome, 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 awesome person to listen to. In his stuff, you can trust that he is who he says that he is, and he's not gonna flip. He's been here, and he's been doing this his whole life. So like, that is a really great person. Here's another person who is recommending him. Sometimes you have to hurt to heal. RC Blake's, absolutely. Like, that man is awesome. So please, if you have not, go visit him and listen to him. I mean, listen, and as you go forward, remember that what you allow is what you're fertilizing. And what you fertilize is what's going to grow, it's what's going to flourish. So the very thoughts that you're absorbing in your mind about yourself post the narcissistic abuse or even during it is what's going to, if you continue to entertain those thoughts, that's what's going to grow. My whole point, what I really want, is for you to now change your thinking and think of yourself in the highest way possible. And this is not out of arrogance, but this is out of a necessity for you to see who your true self is. We're not about, tooting our own horns about stuff that is basic or whatever. No, you are talented people. You are loved people. You are people who are valuable, who are needed, who are gifted. And so it doesn't matter what challenges you face, it doesn't matter. We all have the power. We all have the ability to rise up and be something better than what our situation says. Some people are born into these, into homes with narcissistic parents. Some people have been abandoned by both parents. Everybody has a unique story. We don't all turn out like them. So that's why that theory doesn't fly here. It doesn't fly. They are just who they are. And they chose to be that way. They make that conscious decision, just like I'm encouraging you to be committed to yourself in 10 years. They're committed to being married to the swamp. That's it. They're committed to being a dirty swamp creature their whole life. And so if they can be that committed to something so negative, you can definitely be committed to being the higher version of yourself. And the more that you rise, the more that you drain the swamp, the more that you drown their voices in your mind, the better it gets for you. And you know what? It's not that it just gets better for you. It gets better for everybody who is around you. Because when you're sad, children pick up on it. When you're sad, your friends, your loved ones, they all see it. When you're not valuing yourself, you're not showing up like you should in your own life. And so many people are affected by it because you miss moments that you can actually seize opportunities to speak into somebody's life. You miss the opportunity to, smile and give somebody encouragement just from your smile. You miss moments that can really mean so much more to somebody else. And so, change your way of thinking, because once you do, you shall mount upon wings as an eagle. And that is the word for you today. Rise. Mount yourself up on those wings that you have. If they're not strong enough, that's fine. Give them time to get stronger, but you got to work that muscle. You got to work that muscle so that you can soar. And yeah, sometimes at the top it's lonely, there's nobody there, but that's okay. You'll meet other eagles up there too. And listen, you want to get away from the realm of vultures. You want to get away from the realm of pigeons, of doves, of all these other birds, and go where your kind is. Because that's where you can be sustained. That's where you can be nurtured. That's where you can be understood. It's at those levels where the very best of your qualities come out. I know that one popular meme or quote that floats around, all the time, I run into it. It talks about, you can never, if you're the smartest person in your circle, your growth is going to be stunted. So you can't be an eagle hanging around chickens. You just can't be an eagle in a swamp. What are you looking for in the swamp? You got to fly up. You got to rise up. You got to soar, enjoying your own kind. A lot of people want to call it your tribe, your family, whatever. Call it what makes sense to you, but rise and go there where you belong. Where you belong, they're going to pull out the best of you. They're going to put a demand on you to be everything that you have been called to be. You see, you have been ordained and appointed to do something great, to impact somebody's life. And so I'm challenging you now to recognize that you are the salt. And when I say that you are the salt, I'm not talking about Lot's wife. If you want to look behind and get stuck there, you're going to be stuck. But you're the salt of the earth. And what I want you to think about when I say salt is that salt is an agent that preserves. It's a preservative, right? And it keeps things good. And so if you're the salt and you're taking your flavor to different communities, wherever, you're bringing the things that will sustain life, that will, like your story in itself, it will sustain somebody and keep them able to face the challenges that they are facing, to overcome the abuse that they are facing. Your story is unique, but it's needed. Somebody needs to hear it. And so when you spread that salt, You're saving lives, you're changing, or you're preserving, somebody's sanity. You're keeping them in their right mind and helping them hold on. But not only is salt a preservative, right? It's also a change agent, because when salt comes into an atmosphere or we add it to food, it changes the flavor and it becomes better. So when you go somewhere and you speak or you share or you love or you just show up and smile, change has to come to pass. Change, you begin to affect that atmosphere, you affect that environment, you affect that energy around you. So you're needed. You have got to go ahead and sprinkle your flavor so that you can preserve and effect change in communities. So many of you are so talented at so many different things that, listen, the moment you open your mouth, people will be quiet because what you have to say is important. The moment you show up on the scene, healing starts to take place because that's the aura that you have. That's the fragrance of who you are. And so you cannot allow these swamp creatures to alter the way that you see yourselves. You are the assignment, the assignment that is on you is so much more important than that. Hey, Black Divine, thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you so much, my sister. Thank you. Um, Not only are you the salt, but you're the light. And we know that you're the light because that raggedy creature thought that they could dim your lights. But I want you to realize that in itself is a testament to the power of who you are. They can't dim your lights. The only way that they can effectively do that is if you hand it over. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's throwing your pearls to swine. That's right, swine. That's what they are. That's what they are. Raggedy, dusty pigs. Raggedy, dusty behinds. And so, we don't just throw away these good things, these wonderful qualities that we have, so that they can all just, do what with it. They're not qualified to do anything with it. So as much as they feel like they may want to hold on to whatever qualities that we have, it just doesn't work. They're not equipped for that. All of that belongs to you. And it's like, how babies like to wear either their mom or dad's shoes, and their feet are like this and the shoe is like that. It doesn't work. They're just not qualified. And they know this. They know it, but they really lie to themselves. You know what? They don't lie to themselves. They lie to us. But when it comes to themselves, they're just plain flat out delusional. And they walk and they breathe their delusion. They cannot fit your shoes. They cannot fit. In fact, if they were ever to have the light that you have, how they're always trying to be, these energy vampires to suck out what you have, I bet you they would just, it would be spontaneous combustion right there, because that's too much for them. They're dark entities. They are full of sewer water. So the shock that they would receive would be more than they're able to contain. You are not for everybody, and it's important that you recognize this. You Yep. One says incompatible. That right there, they're incompatible. They're incompatible and they do not belong. They do not belong. They do not belong at all. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's some questions here, so give me a second. MJW73, how do I stop being so bitter about the end of the relationship and the way he treated me for 20 years? I feel so hurt and sad about it. Now I realize he was a covert narc I was so loyal to. I think one of the most important things that you recognize when you're coming from such a long-term relationship is to have some grace for yourself, first of all, and extend some compassion to yourself. You know, nobody nobody deserves to be lied to or misled the way that these narcissists mislead their targets. And we can blame ourselves so easily for being stuck in it. Why didn't I see this? Why didn't I walk away? Why didn't I listen? Why? All of these whys. but you've got to forgive yourself for that. You've got to, you've got to not allow that to hinder the way that you see yourself anymore, and extend some grace. That's so important. But also allow yourself to have moments, because there's nothing wrong with having a moment. Just don't get stuck there and don't stay there, but allow yourself to feel. You're human. And so this is something that hurts. It's something that's real. It's something that you have to deal with. And it's also something that you can overcome. I don't know if therapy is an option for you. I would highly encourage you to, if you can, to go see a therapist. I did a video on how to pick out a therapist, so that you don't pick up a narcissistic therapist, because there are many of them out there. So, I suggest listen to it, get some points from it if you're going to go that route. But I think one of the most important things, and I do this a lot with my own clients, is to find out, we talk about just their life. What was it like growing up for you? Ask yourself that question. And if you're able to identify an area that hurt you, or, that could have possibly been an opening in your life that would make you, that would cause just a crack in your foundation, then begin to work on that issue first. Once we heal our original hurts, I think overcoming the pain of these relationships becomes that much more easier. Once I was able to work through, the childhood sexual assaults, um, getting over my relationship with my ex-husband became that much more easier, because I recognized that this was the core injury, and it was because of that low self-esteem. It was the self-loathing, those things that made it okay for me to accept his bad treatment of me. Now, I don't know if that's what your situation is like, because some people, they don't have that. But then I think there's still that shadow work that needs to be done. So that you can heal from this relationship. And it's, just getting in tune with yourself and doing that work. It's not easy. That path to self-love is not about brunches. It's not about, pretty pictures on girl trips and that kind of thing. That is not self-love. That is maintenance. It's having fun. It's part of life. But self-love is when you begin to address these issues, when you begin to take off the layers of pain that are in your life, and we begin to strip ourselves so that we're now vulnerable and at our core, and are answering the hard questions. If you email me, pinggirlteaches@gmail.com, I will send you some shadow work that I share with my clients, that it will help start setting things in perspective. If anyone wants that shadow work, just email me and I will send it to you. You got to give me a little time to answer all the emails, but I will definitely send out the shadow work for you. It's questions, it's prompts that I ask, or, that I put together, that help you begin the process of sorting things through in your emotions. And, sometimes it's going to involve some reparenting, just depending on what your situation was. But if you email me, I'll make sure that I send that out to you as soon as I can, so that you can do the work and begin to heal. But, it's important. Stay connected to communities like this, watch the videos, and talk. Talk. Being able to get on what's on the inside out is so important. When we hold on to these things and we don't release how we're feeling, it's like, we're holding on to something toxic. We're holding on to something poisonous, and we cannot allow that to infect us anymore. We have to let it out. You have to be able to release it, so that you can now begin to experience a different type of life, because whatever is on the inside, it must come out. It must come out, so that you can, get to work. Oh, here, look at Black Divine. I told you this, my sister. She came in right here helping. Add it to your site as a downloadable, and I will do that. But I'm so not tech savvy, so I'll work on it this weekend. But in between then, I will just send out emails. But I'll definitely do that. I will definitely do that. Thank you for reminding me. Uniquely Made, thank you so much. I appreciate you for all your support. Really, you are always showing up. Thank you so very much. Um, oh, okay. So I'm going to make this one my last thing that I want to touch on. Um, Tanya says, put on the full armor of God in your sleep too. This is so important. I want to tell you something that's going to make you laugh. So I love to watch the ID channel. That's really the only TV that I watch. Or I'll flip and go watch Forensic Files. But those are the type of things that I enjoy watching there. If I'm doing reading for pleasure, I read those type of books. Patricia Cornwell is my favorite, and she has some great books. She, is a medical investigator or the coroner in her books. So she's awesome, right? So I would go to sleep all the time with the TV on, and again, it's on ID, it's on Forensic Files, one of the two. And I remember one day waking up just so disturbed, like, oh my God, I can't believe I killed somebody in my sleep. And, and everything played out. Like, I remember the details on how it happened. And the whole day I was just pondering, like, dang, how could this happen? What is going on? And I was like so troubled that, is this like a prophecy is going to happen? Or it's going to come true in my life? I was bothered, right? But a couple of weeks went by, and here I am wide awake watching TV. And I was like, hold up, this is familiar. This is what I dreamt. So subconsciously, I'm awake listening to the program, thinking that this was reality. And so, the fact that she's mentioning it here, put on the full armor of God in your sleep too. It's important because it programs us subconsciously. Look at me, I was losing my mind thinking that I was a murderer. Like, hello, but it was what I was listening to while I was asleep. So now I make it a point that when I do go to sleep, because I do need the white noise. So sometimes I will listen to rain, and you can find them right here on YouTube. You can find videos that are 8 hours, 12 hours, 3 hours. But I also found this really great one, which is just scriptures all night. It's spoken by this man. His voice is so soothing. I'm going to attach it to the comments in here again when I finish here, but it's so good. This one's only 3 hours, but this is my favorite one. Or even I've started using the Abide app, where it's just scriptures again. And, they actually talk and help you to sleep. And even if you wake up in the middle of the night, you're able to, you just wake up refreshed and relaxed. And I did, yes, abide. Absolutely. It's been really great for me, and I've noticed the quality of my sleep is a lot better now. But guys, it's almost an hour and 15 minutes, and I want to respect your time. I thank you so much for joining me here tonight. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your continued support. I thank you for, being there for each other, because we can't do this work individually. But when we come together collectively, we can do so much better together, and we can build Rome a lot faster and more effectively with all our, with everybody's input, with everybody's influence. When we look at things and we try to solve things by ourselves, it becomes very one dimensional. And if you bring your perspective and you bring your perspective, then guess what? We are now three-dimensional, and we can see things from a different perspective, and we can think better and do better. So thank you so much for, showing up in the comments and for encouraging people and for just being amazing to yourself. Continue to treat yourself well. Continue to work towards becoming the future version of yourself, and continue to just honor yourself and love yourself, extend grace to yourself, and be good to yourself. Like, you deserve it. I need you to tell yourself something positive tonight, whether you're saying thank you for showing up, thank you for, for being who you are. Tell yourself sorry for the times that you let yourself down, for the times that you believed the voice of the narc, the voice of the enemy. Apologize to yourself. Sorry for calling yourself fat. Sorry for calling yourself ugly. Sorry for calling yourself not good enough. Sorry for thinking that you didn't deserve any better. Tell yourself, I forgive you. I forgive myself. Forgive myself for believing that clown. I forgive myself for not standing up for myself. And and I hear you. I hear you. Tell yourself, I hear you. I hear you, and so I'm going to honor you because I hear your voice. I hear you crying from from the depths of my soul, or your soul, however you're going to word it. But acknowledge how you're feeling and give yourself space to feel how you're feeling. There's nothing wrong if you're sad, or if you're experiencing feelings of indifference. Look at these are not normal relationships, and they've played with you in your from your highest place. They played with your mind. And so extend some grace to yourself. You're allowed to feel how you feel. You're even allowed to be angry, but don't dwell in it. You've got to move on. But it's important that, especially if you're angry, be able to express it, let it out, because when we continue to harbor feelings like of anger is going to come in and bring its cousins: bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness. And all that's going to do is infect us with toxins. And so, get it out, let it go, release those emotions, whether you journal, whether you speak out, whether you pray, whether you work it out, however you choose to do it. Find your thing and just flow in it. So, right. All right, Cassie, here's another one. I forgive myself for disobeying God. And right there, one of the ones that I had to do was I forgive myself. Well, I had to ask for forgiveness first, but I had to go back and recognize that I was so prideful to think that, after knowing, or, just having a feeling that this isn't the right thing for you to do with this person, I still did it, and I'm, I, I'll be okay, no, so just open, just extend some grace to yourself through these moments. I see O is here tonight. Hey, O. I hope that you are well. You have been on my mind a lot, and I'm going to tell you why. One of the lives, a few lives ago, we were closing up, and I did not see your comments until afterwards. And I was like, dang, if I would have seen it, I would have done it, because you were like, oh, can you close us out in prayer? And I was like, listen, somebody asked for prayer and I didn't even see it. So I just rolled on up out of here. But you're here now. And, I've never forgotten you because of that. And I don't know. I just, was just like a call, somebody asks you to pray, you pray. And so I was always like, yeah. So I prayed for you that night. And I'm going to pray with all of us tonight, even though that was not my game plan. But we are here and you are here. And so I want to thank you for being here and being part of this community. All of you, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I appreciate you all so much. I don't take your time for granted. I thank you all. And so, shall we pray? Sovereign Lord, we come before your throne tonight with so much thanksgiving in our hearts. God, I thank you that you have created an environment for us to gather together and to just grow with one another. I thank you for my brothers and my sisters, and I pray that you would shine your light on them. I pray that you would fill their hearts with gladness, that even in the lonely moments, even in the difficult moments, even when they feel like they're alone and there's nobody there to hear them, to reassure them, to love them. For those who feel so dejected because they've been rejected by the very people who were created to love them, God, remind them that their nativity, their birth story is inconsequential to the plans that you have for their lives. Their destiny is so much greater than that. As everybody begins to reflect on their 1 year plan, 2 year plan, 5, 10 year plan, I pray that you would give them the strength to dream big. You're big and you're an awesome God who is able to do all things but fail. And so I pray that you would give them the boldness to seek you in new ways, to trust you with things that they've held so closely to themselves. I pray that even within these communities that you would strengthen them, that they would be able to see that they are wolves in sheep's clothing, that they are serpents within these fields. God, I pray that you would protect them from the enemy. I pray that you would cause a shifting in their lives or in their inner man to know that this is not for me, and that they would walk away. You said in your word that your sheep know your voice. I pray that you would quicken them to hear you, to know your voice intimately, and to desire more and more of you, to desire more of who you see them to be. I pray for every broken heart tonight. I pray for your supernatural healing. I pray for your divine strength to keep them going. God, for those who are hurt, who are in the midst of the fog, I pray for clarity. I pray that you would give them peace. For those who are struggling to maintain their households in the midst of this pandemic. I pray that you would extend grace to them, that you would show them your unmerited favor, that you would open up the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing in their lives. Father, for those who are being challenged in the areas of their health, I pray divine healing. You are Jehovah Rapha, a God who heals. You're a healer of not just physical sickness, but you're a healer of emotional pain. Break the walls of the psychological prisons and set your children free, Almighty God. We know that we know that you are able. We know that you are more than willing to do this. And so I pray that even as they rest tonight, your love would fill their hearts, and that they would be at peace, and that, God, they would wake up renewed and refreshed in their minds, ready to meet the best version of themselves, because you've given them clarity and you give them strength to desire more, and to you empower them to take that next step. So God, I thank you, and we praise you tonight. And again, we thank you for each other, that you have seen it fit to bring us together to grow and to share and to love and support each other. So God, we thank you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much, and I look forward to being with you again next week. Next week, I have a survivor of domestic violence. She's actually a good friend of mine, Tiffany. She's going to come and share. Tiffany, she has an amazing story. I won't share a lot about it, but why I wanted her to talk to you is just how she overcame so many obstacles to get to where she is, and how much her life has changed. And all I want to do is, again, inspire you to see yourself. Your story doesn't have to be like hers, but your story is just as powerful. So until next time, y'all, take care of yourself, and thank you so much for being here.